If you've ever been slammed with a surprise cloud bill, you've probably heard the same old advice. Go hunt for waste, clean up those unused resources, get a better dashboard. But what if that entire approach is, well, wrong? Let's get into this because today we're going to reframe cloud cost. We're not treating it as a financial cleanup job, but as what it really is, a fundamental system design problem. And this, right here, is the core idea. The problem isn't some big, glaring mistake you can easily point to. Nope. It's the slow, steady drip of tiny, seemingly harmless choices made by engineers every single day, usually when they're under pressure to just move fast. Once you really get that, it changes everything about how you tackle the issue. So first things first, let's bust the conventional wisdom, what I like to call the myth of waste. This is the default approach for so many organizations, but honestly, it's a losing game. I mean, we've all seen this play out, right? A massive bill comes in, the finance department sounds the alarm, and engineering teams get tasked with going to find the waste. They pull up the dashboards, they look for idle instances, and they treat it like a chore that gets in the way of the real work. It's a completely reactive and kind of frustrating cycle. And that's exactly why the cycle never ever ends. Chasing waste is like playing a game of whack-a-mole. You might smack one down this month, but two more are going to pop up next month. Because the root cause, the way the system was actually designed in the first place, was never even touched. It all but guarantees that your spending will stay unpredictable. So let's get to the real heart of it. If it's not about one big mistake, what is it? Well, it's a flood. A flood built from thousands of tiny individual decisions. This analogy from Mike Rosenberg just perfectly captures the problem. Think about it. An engineer makes one small choice, and in that moment, they can't see any harm. But when you have hundreds of engineers making these small, uncoordinated choices every single day, they add up, they compound, and suddenly you're dealing with a massive, unexpected cost flood. And you can see how this actually happens, step by step. A team's gotta ship a new feature, like yesterday, so they don't have time to properly architect for cost. A service gets set to autoscale for reliability, which is good, but nobody really modeled what a big traffic spike would cost. Each step on its own feels logical. It feels fine. But each one adds another drop of water, until suddenly the dam breaks. This brings us to a really crucial point: trade-offs. Every single technical decision an engineer makes is also a financial decision. Whether they realize it in the moment or not, it just is. Now, as Microsoft's framework points out, a trade-off isn't just about spending less. In fact, a choice that focuses only on cutting costs can be just as dangerous. It can introduce some serious risks to the reliability, the security, and even the core business goals of your application. It is a very, very delicate balancing act. And these examples right here show the real-world consequences. You might think, hey, let's reduce our resource redundancy to save a couple bucks. Great, but you've just made your application less reliable. Or what about, let's ditch that firewall to cut costs? Well, congratulations, you've just opened up a massive security hole. The key thing to remember is that cost can't be optimized in a vacuum. Okay, so if the old way is totally broken, what's the solution? Well, it's all about making a shift from reactive cleanup to proactive design. It's about building a fundamentally different kind of engineering culture. The answer is to start treating cost as a first-class citizen in your architecture, right up there with performance, security, and reliability. You have to think of it as another pillar holding up your application, one you design and build for from day one, not something you try to glue on at the end. So how do you actually build this culture? For starters, treat unit cost, cost per transaction or cost per user, as a core engineering metric. Then you have to enforce cost tagging so you actually have visibility. But here's the thing, don't just dictate rules. Empower your engineers with options and information. And always prioritize security and stability over pinching pennies. And finally, and this is huge, when a team makes a really smart cost-saving design choice, celebrate it publicly. Okay, let's zoom out to the final piece of the puzzle, because this isn't just an engineering issue. At its core, it's a business strategy problem. This quote from a Wipro report it absolutely nails it. If your engineering teams are making design choices without a crystal clear understanding of the business goals, you are setting yourself up for failure. Those cost overruns, they're often just a symptom of this much deeper strategic misalignment. So the next time you see a cloud bill that just feels chaotic and out of control, resist that urge to just open a dashboard. That unpredictability, that's a smoke signal. It's your system trying to tell you that its architecture is out of sync with its purpose and it needs a much, much closer look. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about for your own organization. When your costs are spinning out of control, where do you look first for the answer? Is the problem really what you can see in the dashboard, or is it hidden much deeper in the thousands and thousands of small decisions that make up your system's design?